This video will give a brief synopsis of the sin that was taking place in Judges 17 to 21 and compare it to the sins we see today. As we start to look at Judges 17 to 21, we see sin of the men and women right away. It gives us an insight to the moral corruptness that existed among God's people during this time when they lacked a real consciousness of God as their king. Chapter 17 starts out with a man named Micah returning 1,100 shekels of silver that he stole from his mother. Mind you, it wasn't because he felt guilty in taking it, but because his mother put a curse on whoever had taken it. The mother was just as bad as the son. The first thing that she had promised to do when she received her money was to solemnly consecrate it to the Lord. But what she ended up giving the Lord, she had an idol made with it. The idol that Micah was given from his mother was now his own little worship center. He had totally lost the presence of God. Today we see so many things that people worship with their money. Cars that only last a few years, giant houses that only two people live in, our jobs to make the money to buy the houses and cars, and God sees none of it. Verse 6 in chapter 17 tells us the main problem throughout all these chapters. In those days, Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. How many people today have that attitude towards God? How many people go about their daily business relying on themselves instead of trusting in the Lord? The people in Judges' time today have lost the fact that God is our king. Today, if it feels good, we do it. Now, Micah runs into a Levite looking for a place to stay and talks him into staying with him and being his own personal priest. He probably believed that having a priest living with him will have God show favor on him. Do we do the same things today? Do we just go to church on Christmas and Easter and shake the priest's hand and say, we're good for the next year, God will bless us? All right, chapter 18 starts again with reminding us that God has no king, and they're going to do what they feel good. We see the tribe of Dan seeking a place of their own to settle. They send spies out to check out the land. They run into that Levite priest from earlier and talk to him about how it is in the town and if the Lord blesses them to take it. Today we do the same thing when we make excessive purchases. When we think that God has blessed us with money to just spend it willy-nilly on whatever we want, that we're just going to take things. So later on, they go back to take the land and get confronted by their priest. In no time that priest joins them on their merry parade of destruction. This is a priest. I mean, how fast did it take them to sell out? It was less than a verse. The tribe of Dan was burned down, and they moved to a city of Laish and settled there. My question is, do we do similar things? And in amount of times, are we no better? Do we climb that corporate ladder? Do we care about others that we push down that ladder so that we could get the job, so that we could get more things and more things? All right, chapter 19. Israel still had no king, and it starts off with a Levite taking in a concubine, not his wife, mind you. How many relationships do we see in our own neighborhood where couples live together, move in and out from partner to partner, never getting married because they didn't have God in their life? Now we see the very thing that God judged Sodom for is happening with this tribe of Benjamin. The tribe was on a place to stay, and a group of men came along and demand that the man be sent out so that they may rape him. The man of the house pleads with them, and he sends out the man's concubine and his own virgin daughter. Wow. I look at that, and do we treat women in our culture as equals to men? Do men look down upon women and use them for what pleasures they want and then leave them on their doorsteps the next morning? So chapter 20, we come to the story where all of Israel is going to fight Benjamin for what they had done to the woman. Wow, we must be getting on the right track now, right? Not so fast. They had the battle, lots of people died, and now the Benjamites need women to multiply. So chapter 21 is all about women again. They needed wives, and they're willing to deceive the clan of Jabesh Gilead. And they hatched a plan that whoever didn't show up for an assembly before the Lord will be killed. Well, it seems the only thing they did do was tell this tribe. So they had a meeting, and orders were made to kill all the men and women except for the virgins. And they would give these women to the tribe of Benjamin. Well, they divided the women up, and it just wasn't enough yet. So they hatched another plan, and they were going to sit on the roadside and seize the women of Shiloh. All is taken, what isn't even ours, and we do that every day out here. And in the process, we destroy other people for what we want. The dates and times of these locations are different, but not everything is different. We still commit these same sins that happened in Judges. It goes on today in different ways. Maybe we disguise it and call it something else. But we have so many people living in sin that aren't married. They go from man to man, woman to woman, man to woman. We have relationships, and we say marriage is old fashioned, and none of it's pleasing in the eyes of the Lord.